life we've been taught to treat everyone the same. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And I get that. But in the volume senior versus studio senior world, you kind of have to treat the two a little bit differently. And you can't get wrapped up in treating a volume senior the same exact way that you would a studio senior. Now let me explain. A volume senior, sometimes it's just 2 sets, in and out. You can't spend 30 minutes with them talking and making them comfortable and this and that and getting into a bunch of small talk. It's a volume senior. It's volume money. It's not a regular senior. So you have to disconnect that whole train of thought. You have to get into that mode of, hey, I'm a volume photographer right now. So all the things that you do in the studio, they have to kind of go to the wayside, and you have to remember, I'm not making the same amount of money per senior, so I have to change my train of thought. So think about it. Get in a different mindset. You're a different type of employee at that point. So disconnect the two. There's 2 totally different trains of thought. Not meaning that you treat one of them bad, but you just can't give them quite the amount of care or quite the amount of attention, let's say that, than you can a regular senior. You have to disconnect it. A place you can make a big mess is proofing. When you go into a school and you're doing volume seniors and there's 240 seniors, you've got to think way ahead of time, how am I going to get them to order these images? Well, the first year I went in and did it, we ordered paper proofs for everybody that came in, and that was a big mistake. I did not do that again, ever. Because what happened was a lot of the people, they had the paper proofs, they took them home, and that's probably what they framed. Even though it said proof across their face, they don't care. So what we're changing this year is everybody is going to come back and do a same day order. So we'll photograph them during the day, and then they can either come back right afterwards, or they can come back that night. I don't care if we're here until midnight. Everyone is going to do a same day order, and that is just, we're either going to do it that way or we're not going to do it at all. Because in my opinion, you lose way too much money trying to get them to order, you know, a month or 2 months down the road, when those images, they've seen them enough, they're tired of looking at them, they're not excited about them anymore. You're not going to get the same type of orders that you would if it were a spontaneous sale. That's just my opinion. Plus, paper proofs, you throw away a lot of money, So in my opinion, no paper proofs, order the same day. So what do you do if you have a mom or a senior even that says, well, I don't understand why at the school this summer, to get a session there, it was this amount of money, but when I come here, the prices are this much. I don't quite understand. Well, what you do in that situation is you spend that whole 2 hours that you're photographing, every time you move a light, every time you move a reflector, every time you change light settings, every time you change lenses, every time you change a backdrop, everything you do, you explain it to the parent. And you say, all right guys, now what we're going to do, I'm going to move this light over here. I'm going to adjust this from up to 5/6. What that's going to do, that's going to allow for a little bit more of a shallow depth of field. It's going to really bring you forward instead of the whole background, you know, being super sharp and focused. And here, those are the types of things that we can change, and we want to give you a lot of variety, whereas at the school, you know, it's just kind of a quick in and out. So let's get started on this one. And then when you move somewhere else, you say, okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to do a 3-light setup here, and we're going to do what's called clamshell lighting. Now at the school, we can't do clamshell lighting for everybody, but I want to show you, I'll take one and show you what it looks like. You're going to love it. Blah, 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 blah. You're just talking, everything you do, you're validating why this is a special experience and why they get preferential treatment at the studio as a studio senior versus the school as a volume senior. So it's just validating why the prices are different, and you're explaining it, because in their mind they think it's the same product, which it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. So that's where it's your job to explain why things are different, why they're priced different, and why there's kind of 2 different brands to it, but those brands still merge together. So you can very successfully run 2 separate divisions of your business, We're doing it very well. We love it. And who knows, maybe the volume senior world, it may help me retire early. You know, I may be able to retire, you know, I'm like 85 or something instead of 90. So I can at least have, you know, a couple of good years. Who knows?